be your star chaser, be your human nature. So tell me, are you ready for the fire, for the fire? Cause I was made for this. I'm at the top of every list. I was made for this. I was made for this. Truth is, I'm the favorite. I was made for this.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the third place, fourth place match of the ASL. A ZVZ to close this part of the tournament out, and it was kind of cool seeing those people in the audience down there. Pretty big showing, to be honest, for a ZVZ third place, fourth place.
Right, yeah, well, that's just how hype this season of ASL has been. GSL as well, like, people are really happy to be back in the studio, having some great StarCraft to watch, and it has been fantastic this season.
It's been a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to our finals. It's going to be really interesting to see who's going to take it. But to be honest, you know, not all ASLs or GSLs for that matter are made equally. I would say this has been one of the most fun and exciting seasons. You really never know who's going to move on next. Lots of upsets, lots of interesting changes in the meta. And of course, our final recording for this will be on, well, the match will air on Saturday. So I guess Tastosis will just be doing that immediately on Sunday when they send us the VOD and getting that out right away. And yeah, you know, it's been a great season. I'm curious to see who's going to take it.
Yeah, I'm pretty pumped about it, to be honest, Tasteless. Like, I have been waiting for a really great Terran versus Terran match for quite some time. The last time we had a really high-end TVT, Flash kind of bullied Light in a best of 5. So, haven't had anything quite like a best of 7 between two evenly matched Terrans in many, 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 many years. And in fact, like, maybe ever. If we're talking about best of 7, this is literally the first time we've had something like this.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. The venue's super cool as well. We've used it for several different games, including StarCraft 2 and StarCraft 1. But if you're going to be down there, it's going to be a lot of fun to just see the games kind of pan out there and to see who's going to take it, man. And then we're going to have a little bit of downtime with the ASL. It's going to be off for a little bit.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to have to wait until the next year starts up. Normally it starts like pretty early in the year. I'm hoping that that's going to be the case again. Like, if I recall correctly, normally we have the qualifiers in January, right? So that's like a pretty quick start. And I'm hoping that we do get that once again. You know, ASL, like, I just feel so much better when it's going on. You know, it's like something to really look forward to every week.
Well, I think for everybody who's especially active and playing, you know, we're all kind of lost at sea until an ASL comes on and can kind of show us what we need to be doing in the matchups that we're struggling in. As you guys can see, it was kind of a crazy road to get here. We didn't end up with Light or Bisu. You know, Snow didn't make it out into the round of 4. So, you know, some very, very, I think, surprising upsets. I think a lot of people thought it would definitely be Light or definitely be Bisu here in the finals, and it was neither.
Well, they were really close, too, right? Both those went to Game 5 where they just barely lost. So, very impressive from their opponents. And, of course, those 7-game series in the round of 4 were to die for.
So here's our map lineup. It's going to be Butter, Odyssey, Vermeer, Nemesis, and Neo Arkanoid. I really do hope we go to Game 5 because I'm very...
That would be cool.
Yeah.
That would be really cool. I would like that a lot,
Yeah, it would be just so fun to kind of see what exactly their approaches are on a map like that, especially with the fact that, you know, Neo Arkanoid might not be in the next ASL. It might not be back in the map rotation. We never know. So whenever we get these weird maps, I'm especially interested in mirror matchups and how they're approached.
Yeah, ZVZ on island-ish maps can be pretty insane.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely looking forward to that if we can get to that Game 5. But you never really know in ZVZ how it's going to go. Like, honestly, if your couple of little mind games work, you could just have a 3L on either side. Although I would say going into this that I do favor herO a little bit. I really do feel like ZVZ has been, you know, the pain in SoulKey's side for a long time.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to see how he decides to map this out and play this through here. You know, just one other thought, whether we get to Neo Arkanoid or not, is that even maps that may not be great because of some imbalances, you know, the map makers are trying to make the map interesting or present some new ideas, but it turns out to maybe not be fair for one of the races. That is never true in a mirror matchup because you don't have to worry about any imbalances since you're both playing the same race.
Yeah, that's very true. I guess you can get like a little bit of like a positional one, or you scout your opponent wrong with the Overlord or something like that, but really not much there for ZVZ. Really does come down to the mind games, to the execution. Micro, so important.
Yeah, coming into this, I'm not sure who's the stronger Zerg player. Maybe herO. You know, he seems to not really have a weak matchup.
Yeah, I give herO a small edge pretty much against everyone, right? Like I did think he was actually going to end up taking down
you and me both, yeah.
Rush in that round of 4, and it was so close. Like he really almost did, but you know, being here, they have actually pretty similar ZVZ records. Like SoulKey is slightly losing, herO is slightly winning. And that's generally how ZVZ goes. We rarely have anyone that actually gets up into high win rates in this particular mirror matchup, even though we do see that a bit more. Like Rain and Beast were killers PvP, right? Flash has an unreal record TVT. But as far as Zerg vs. Zerg, I think since Jaedong, we really haven't had anyone that has dominated the matchup.
Yeah, I was going to say, Jaedong was maybe the only person who was doing that, but that was so long ago. The game was really in a very different place.
Very true, yeah.
So we're going to be hopping into Game 1 right now, guys. It's going to be on the map Butter, SoulKey versus herO. Coming up now here to see who is actually going to confirm that bronze medal, if you will, and come out in 3rd place here for the ASL.
All right, let's get into this, man. Butter 2 being a 2-player map, going to make it pretty straightforward as to where their opponents are at, which can actually, in some ways, allow more mind games, right? We've definitely seen that from SoulKey, where he's done, like, hidden hatches and stuff. I'm hoping that he brought some cool stuff here for this 3rd place match.
Yeah, I'm really interested in seeing what kind of builds are going to be used here, if we're going to have any crazy strats. And, you know, Tastosis and me are always talking about it. We don't very often get it, but maybe a late-game ZVZ. All right, guys, let's go to this game. Game 1 here in the best of 5 to find out who gets 3rd place in the ASL.
So we have in the top right our Zerg player, SoulKey. There he is. In the bottom right, our other Zerg player, herO. How are you liking Butter 2 so far, Tastosis?
I have it ticked off. I'm not playing on it.
Not playing on it. Yeah, well,
I find it a little bit difficult. I think that it's a map that you definitely have to really do a deep dive on. At least for Protoss, in my experience, you really got to kind of know where you're going to go and what you're going to do. And to be honest, with Sylphid back in the map pool, I wanted to kind of focus more on that and getting a handle on that. What about you, Tastosis? Have you been doing Butter too?
Yeah, I like Butter. I mean, it has its difficulties in Terran vs. Protoss because of all the offensive gassing that goes on. But I think it's like a cool 2-player map. There's definitely, frustrations TVP, as all 2-player maps always have, but like, I kind of like the layout of it. I really like the boomerang shapes on the left-hand side of the map and the interesting things that those cause to occur, the interesting army movements around there. I feel like it really makes army movement and tactics really strong, which, of course, you know, in Zerg vs. Zerg, you won't see as much of that, right? You're not going to see like those ramps necessarily being used, but you probably will see things like a couple lings hiding over in that side of the map for little counterattacks.
SoulKey goes for a quick pool and then gas, where we just have herO only with a pool, and presumably he's going to be going for a hatchery somewhere. We'll find out somewhere, probably his natural. And oh no, never mind. He's going to get a little bit of a later gas. So I think I kind of like this a little bit more here for herO. Generally speaking, whoever gets the pool a little bit later is ahead, if that makes sense. And that's only because you get 1 or 2 extra drones out here. And you might be asking yourself, well, why would you ever get an early pool then? Well, if they go for a very late pool, then you just kill them or get a lead in that sense because they don't have any Zerglings. So, you know, there's always a way to kind of play around this.
Also, you know, we've noticed as ZVZ has grown, like, for instance, notice that his layer is started, and it started like a good 20, 30 seconds probably faster than herO's will. So sometimes you see the quicker pool player just kind of dictate the flow of the game a little bit more because their Spire will be coming up more quickly.
That's right. And, you know, obviously with SoulKey here, the third hatchery going to be much later, so he's not going to have that kind of production. Layer is started now. Oh, no, never mind. It was canceled. So I was going to say he's going to have very late Ling speed, but he sees these Zerglings coming down here now. Now, keep in mind, herO's Ling speed is going to finish long after SoulKey's is. So there's going to be a window of time here where SoulKey's just going to be much, much stronger here in the fight.
Well, I think because herO canceled that, like, I think actually his Ling speed is going to be, like, on par.
Oh, no, you're right, actually.
Right?
Yeah, no, I stand corrected here because of the timing of that. Yeah, no, that's correct.
Yeah, he's like 100 gas behind in general, I think, or 120 gas, something like that overall. So, yeah, the cancel there, I think it helped him with the Lings, but obviously his Spire going to be a lot later because of that. You see SoulKey already starting his Spire up, and still no layer here. Of course, the Overlord sees that, so SoulKey looks like he's going to back up and maybe make an arc inside of his choke point.
Yeah, the Spire already on the way here, and I think that SoulKey's probably just going to go for kind of a one-base play. Keep in mind, he can collapse back in behind the egg, behind the small entry point, and basically be fine.
Well, herO right now has fielded a lot of Zerglings. You notice SoulKey does have 4 Lings to the side. One of his main tactics is to keep 2 Lings to the side. It looks like he's gone 4 this time, maybe because everyone is kind of aware that he loves these little counterattacks when he gets attacked.
Right.
But we'll see if herO is actually going to dive in. He's starting to mine gas again. Of course, his layer's on the way, so he's going to want to get into his Spire. But it's a lot slower. Like, the Spire of SoulKey's going to be finishing pretty quickly here.
Yeah, I think he has to get an Evolution Chamber here, ideally at the last possible second, and then get, you know, Spores to protect himself. But now Lings are going to come down here from SoulKey. Does SoulKey have a little bit more? I almost feel like he does. Maybe they're actually almost even.
It does look pretty even as far as the Zergling count goes. I think we definitely have more drones for herO right now. Oh, SoulKey jumps in, and herO was not ready for that. SoulKey got some great connects, and herO is getting routed very, very quickly here.
Yeah, and, you know, that was actually a really nice kind of attack in there, and, you know, these things snowball pretty quickly here, and I actually think this may be the deciding moment of the game.
Yeah.
It's going to turn out to be not about the mutas or anything, but really the fact that these Lings are going to come out, and they're already doing so much damage. Additional Lings are going to come down here. The 2 counterattack Lings do come meet up with the rest of the group. But, you know, that was a lot of stuff killed off. It's going to be very hard to imagine a game where there's going to be an opportunity for the Zerg to recover. It looks like he wants to try to make a creep colony over here, but the mutas are already coming.
Those blocks are actually magnificent. The mutas can come down now and maybe do some harassment. Spore is going up in the main base, so that'll be cleared from Mutalisk harassment for a bit, but the mutas killing anything here is pretty big. Look at this. He has 2 Overlords, actually, that are going to be, like, over that Spore.
That's actually
he has to get those out of here.
Yeah, he doesn't really have anything to keep. I didn't even notice those Overlords until the last second. It looks like he will get those out in time, but, you know, in a matchup like this where, you know, every unit is so important, dropping an Overlord can be huge.
There's some beautiful micro around that sunken colony. Great drone drilling going on here from SoulKey, and he will defend his drones. I don't believe he lost a drone there. Clears those Lings of herO. Here in the meantime is kind of getting his defenses up. Look at that beautiful Mutalisk. I love that. Tastosis just holding position and denying the bottom patches.
Yeah, it's going to force another Spore colony. This is so uncomfortable, honestly, here for herO.
It really is. He's forced 4 Spores at this point. So that is not something you really want to do.
-4 drones, which is quite a lot. The layer has not yet started. And so this is going to really give SoulKey, you know, a lot of different opportunities on how to take this. Now, he's got some problems of his own in that he doesn't have a second base yet, but it's not exactly like herO's really getting a 2-base economy going here. He's got 3 drones over at his natural, probably about 1 drone per mineral patch in his main. And I do wonder if maybe it's possible to just get enough mutas. Okay, he beat me to it. I was going to say just get enough mutas to basically come in here and take this. He could just switch out the weaker mutas, and there it is. The Spire's been denied. He could even go for the Evolution Chamber. Oh, I guess it's even easier than that.
Wow. Yeah, it jumps on top of that second spore. Now, more spores are being made. He dived on that first spore with 7, and he is starting to lose a few. Another spore is being made right now, but it feels like SoulKey has this, like, just exact.
It hurts my brain trying to imagine being in herO's position right now. Like, this is just so bad. And you can see he's even going to try to get this Overlord. I mean, this is such an oppressive lead here from SoulKey. The Spire has started again, but if you look at the gas banked up here, herO has about 300 gas. So, I mean, it's not exactly... It's not a lot. You know, some of these games, when they get the layer a little bit later, they're pooling so much gas. But at this point in time, literally, if he could match his gas and minerals, like if you could magically just get 400 minerals here, he would still probably not be able to catch up ever to the muta count. You know,
it's a good point. Yeah, I think you're basically right about that. He's back up to 7 mutas, by the way. There's some damage on him, but that is the amount he dived before with. But just kind of keeping tabs here, picking off a few lings here and there, which is actually huge, because SoulKey always has that option, right? If there's not enough lings up there to bring his own Zerglings down. But he doesn't have that much larva, which I think is a big part of what's tough about him finishing the game.
Dude, he's got so many good tactics set up here. It's actually insane. Just sending the 2 lings around and then denying the other lings from coming in there. And then he's going to kill this. He kills off drones. I would not be surprised if herO just taps out here. I mean, this is almost an insurmountable lead.
Well, he must have like a bunch of Scourge about to pop, and maybe that's his last hurrah. Yeah, there they are. Coming down, trying to get those connections. He gets like 1, 2 mutas maybe hit with that. Like you see that really deeply red muta. But yeah, this is going to be it, man. He's doing his counterattack. There's a Sunken, there's lings, there's mutas. Not too much of a chance left here.
No, it's looking pretty grim. And, as these mutas and Scourge hatch, and you think maybe there's a possibility for a counterattack, well, he's not making any more Mutalisks because he lost that Spire. And so, I mean, I think, almost to the end of this game. I'm kind of amazed that herO's even managed to stay in this game and find opportunities for himself.
The Scourge did a little bit, and he's had 2 hatches for a long time, which has given him a little bit of play. He's actually dives on an Overlord there, which is kind of funny. And now he's just trying to block this little counterattack that's going down. He does have the spores, but look at this. The Ling's going to be able to run by. And as you said, with no Spire, that's the real nail in the coffin here.
Yeah.
Where it's like, well, you have nothing mobile here to stop this with. So as these Lings get in, he has to GG. You see the mutas just kind of flying through everything. It's not enough.
Yeah. Again, it's kind of crazy how hard herO is fighting here. But I don't blame him, man. I mean, this is for the 3rd place title. And you can see the moment that he gets uncomfortable with the lings over there, he just switches sides here. And that basically forces those things to come through here. So I think we are about to see GG, as there's really no way for herO to do anything and stay viable in this game. He does have 2 mutas that are going to counterattack here, but there's already enough lings that they can basically take this base out. And at this point in time, SoulKey can probably part with some of his drones in his main just to get the closure here.
Oh, this is funny. The mutas are actually going to kill all the drones.
Yeah.
Is there any way that with the spore and a few units he can maybe hold on and this turns into the weirdest base trade ever?
I don't think so. Yeah, because 1 muta is going to be enough to come out here and try to take this fight. But kind of a crazy game, to be honest with you here. The last of the drones are going to fall. GG. herO taps out, and SoulKey takes game number 1 in this best of 5.
I got to tell you, that was one of the best ZVZs I've ever seen from SoulKey.
Yeah.
I felt like he was dominant from A to Z. His tactics were unbelievably strong. The dive with 7 mutas instantly, we haven't really seen Zergs doing that in ASL.
Yeah.
Going after the spores right away. A lot of the time they build up mutas a bit more. SoulKey dived perfectly with 7, pulled back perfectly with the 1 muta that almost died and brought it fully out of range, so it tanked maximum damage. That was perfect execution.
Yeah, I learned a lot from that game, honestly. It's interesting. You just pull that 1 muta out. You do not send it back in because they could just target it down in return. And you basically want to figure out which of the spore colonies which one is actually protecting the Spire and go for that.
Yeah, that's a good way to go about it. Now, SoulKey, look at this. He's down 7 drones, and he attacks in. But herO just was not in a good line there. He had no surface area, lost extra lings at the beginning, pulled back, attacked in. Now, his drone blocking here was actually magnificent. If he had not blocked this well with drones, I think the game might have ended immediately to these Lings, but certainly the Lings put SoulKey into a dominating position.
Yeah, it seems like he got about a 3 Zergling lead there with the initial engagement. Some of the Lings trying to retreat kind of bumped into each other. There were like little bumper cars there, and then the extra damage started to snowball. I think we would have had a totally different game had those Lings not, SoulKey's Lings not have gotten the lead there. Guys, we're going to go to a break. We come back. It's going to be game number 2 in this best of 5. Do not go away.
Up hot for a minute.
실성사이다 제로.
상큼함 맥스, 칼로리 X, 맛있는 함 제로. 요즘 제일 탐나는 제로, 우리들의 제로 탐스 제로. 같이 떠나볼래?
아침은 라떼, 홀릭 점심은 라떼, 홀릭 저녁엔 라떼, 홀릭 둥글하게 달콤하게 라떼 홀릭.
달달한 충전이 필요할 땐 칸타타
라떼 홀릭.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for waiting. Before we go into game number 2, we just want to say to all of you out there who are supporting us on Patreon, that is patreon.com/ASL English, we really appreciate it. Without your support, we wouldn't be able to do this.
Yeah, you guys are fantastic, and we just love casting ASL. Even that last Zerg vs. Zerg game, Tastosis, like Zerg vs. Zerg generally is a matchup we kind of like struggle in a little bit, neither of us being Zerg players.
Yeah.
But, that was like a really fun one. SoulKey just so on top of punishing every little thing that herO did.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of hard to watch how one-sided that did become. I mean, it was just such a pounding, but, in a matchup where you have so few units, I mean, in some of these ZVZs, you have less units than you have in a short Warcraft 3 game even. Like, it's actually crazy.
Oh, for sure. It's kind of funny where it's like you have almost no workers, and then you have, like, okay, this little tiny group of Lings, and then you get up to, like, 7 mutas, and the game ends.
So, yeah, I think we're going to hop into this next game soon here. But I guess we're still stuck in this promotional piece because of the Korean VOD. So, again, guys, appreciate the love on Patreon. We do have a goal for this season. We hope we can reach that before we finish up the finals here. And then we're looking forward to doing the next year of ASL, which hopefully will be starting soon in the year, man.
Indeed. We always want ASL going on, honestly. Like, the more ASL, the better. All right, we are going to be getting into game number 2. I'm trying to remember what map it is, but it's not coming to me. I tell you, I'm kind of excited. Like, Nemesis could be a very fun map for ZVZ. I know that that's in the lineup. And, of course, if we do get that Arkanoid, that could be a crazy game. Like, that, I think that has the most potential to give us a ZVZ that goes beyond mutas.
Yeah,
which sounds like it could never happen, but maybe.
Yeah, I mean, there are points where you make units past the Mutalisks. It's just so hard to ever get into that part of the game. So we basically just never talk about it. We're going to go to Odyssey. That's our map here for map number 2. And we're going to see if herO can come back, because right now SoulKey looking pretty deadly. Pretty much in total control of game 1. And it looks like our game is loaded up, guys. The best of 5 to fight and see who is going to get 3rd place in ASL continues on with SoulKey and herO.
Top right, we have SoulKey. And in the bottom left, we have herO. And I got to say one thing about Odyssey. right? So this is the one where you have that expansion down the back ramp that has like a neutral photon cannon there that you have to kill with a worker because you can't get a unit down there. You know, we don't very often see any Zerg vs. Zerg games where there's a third base, but I could see this being one. Once you have those mutas out, that's a very, very safe base. It can only really be attacked by mutalisks. But you can't really send a drone down to kill it. That's what we see in other matchups where you send a worker down and you just kill off that photon cannon. But obviously you don't have enough drones to spare one in Zerg vs. Zerg.
Yeah, maybe we will have some kind of fast expand build where they'll just protect the ramp. How many temples are there, Tastosis, do you know? Because, I mean, you could kill that with links, too.
I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
I think
Oh, here we go. Sign for us. Nice.
Hey, that guy in the crowd.
It's like a time traveler moment. He went into the show now only to go into the future and show us that sign. Thank you so much.
Oh, my God. Yeah. I hope he watches this VOD. Thank you much, man. It's our pleasure casting ASL. Now, it's right now SoulKey with the quicker spawning pool as well as gas. It looks like herO wants to go hatchery first this game.
Yeah, and, you know, pretty straightforward hatchery first at that. I mean, it's just going to be hatch on 12 over here at the natural. No attempt to use that back base. It's always funny when we try to theory craft in ZVZ and see if any of our ideas make sense at all, and then they don't come true. But, you know, this is a quick pool and the opportunity, at least, for very quick Zergling speed. So you got to be careful if you go for a hatch on 12.
Yeah, I wonder if he's going to get punished for that. One thing I need to mention is I just happened to glance up at the APM tab. SoulKey's almost comatose. He's playing at like 200 to 220 APM right now. Normally, the early portions of the game, like almost everyone spams just as kind of a warm-up. But to put this in perspective, SoulKey literally never drops this low, as far as I know, in-game. Like, almost no pros do. Like, maybe Stork will drop this low.
Well, you know, it might be...
So that's just kind of an interesting thing.
One problem that does occur, even with the best players, is when you're trying to play too fast, sometimes you make something you don't need to make, which can really mess you up ZVZ. Yeah. So sometimes it's worth it to just kind of dial it back and be very careful to not accidentally make 2 more lings when you really wanted to save them and make a drone.
He's actually avoided the Overlords really, really well, and the Zerglings are going to come into the hatchery when there's only 2 eggs. So this is really fantastic for SoulKey right now.
Yeah,
this looks really scary.
Man, there's a lot of drones being pulled, Artosis.
This is when you really know you're in trouble. Okay, so he starts attacking, some good drilling, but that is a lot of lings, man.
Oh my God.
Like, SoulKey might end up winning this right off the bat.
Yeah, I mean, this is really bad. Lings are going to back up. He got how many drones? I was not quite counting. Ooh,
dude, a lot. And herO's mining with 2 drones right now. Trying to try to get some back, bringing up his lings and drones to fight right now against SoulKey's lings. This is, like, it looks like SoulKey is just dominating at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, to lose that many drones, it's pretty painful, man. I'm actually a little bit surprised to see he actually did not... oh my God, he can counter now. Oh, Artosis. Oh,
I don't think that the hero's going to be in this game much longer.
Yeah,
dude,
he's going to go for the drones
gets
again.
Another.
You know, with ling speed.
Oh! That's a good catch. That's a good catch. There's a lot of lings here for herO and not a lot for SoulKey. I think SoulKey's going to have to make a sunken in his main.
Yeah, I think he's already started it, though. 6 drones here, no drones at the natural. So, I mean, this is herO with a pretty shattered economy, and I'm sorry, I was wrong. I thought he started that sunk. He did not, but he is going to be able to cover his ramp, which should buy him a little bit of time.
Okay, it looks like herO's trying to slip up there, but SoulKey makes enough lings.
Oh my gosh.
SoulKey just looks to be like miles ahead here, Tastosis.
He looks like he's eons ahead here. I mean, this is crazy.
He looks like he's decades ahead. Wait, is decades more than eons?
I think eons is much more than decades. I don't know what you thought. Like, decade is like 10 years at a time. Artosis thinks eons is like 5 years at a time. So I don't know what else to say, really, guys. I mean, this is an extremely difficult spot to play from, and we kind of already got a pretty good idea of what exactly this game will look like, because this is what happened in Game 1. The circumstances are slightly different, but effectively we're in the same position. And, you know, one thing to keep in mind as well is that hatchery is very low. It will eventually heal over time, but you know, think about the targeting with the Lings in the last game. I mean, there's always the possibility he just runs in there and kills the hatchery.
That is a big possibility, I think. I saw a Spore go right next to it. I think he might have to put in the second one. Immediately going after that Overlord, really any damage to herO right now feels pretty massive. Like, I know he has 2 hatcheries. He's, you know, with those additional larvae, he can drone up a little bit more, but it feels like he has to make so many static defenses. Like, he's going to need... I mean, the way SoulKey's been playing and finding places for mutas, I feel like he's going to need 4 Spores.
Yeah, I think he will 100%, which is just going to make his drone count drop, and I love this. This is so cool. You know, he knows that the threat of mutas is there, so the Spores have to go down no matter what, but why not take a free base in the back? One that can't be harassed by Lings unless the temples are destroyed.
Which, that doesn't seem like a realistic thing. This temple's being killed by Lings. You know, the temples have armor. Lings are going to take forever, and he can always just check on it every now and then. So a lot of Lings in a natural of herO here is supply blocked as well. I don't believe he's got a layer started yet or anything like that, so that's a little bit painful.
Wow,
and SoulKey double expanding? Wow.
I actually did not think he would do that. That's kind of crazy to me. And look at this. He's even forcing the drones to pull away and help defend. I mean, this is so bad right now for herO.
And the fact that SoulKey's playing it so very differently, last time, right, when he got an advantage with this one-hatch muta build, he just kind of killed him. Here he's double expanding. It's like completely night and day. So you're sitting there making static D, and SoulKey's like, I'm going to have 3-gas muta. That's, like, at this point, I almost feel like SoulKey could clown on herO, right? Like, he could go like Lurker Hydra or something here. He's going to be so far ahead once those bases are done.
Yeah, this is actually kind of insane, man. I mean, it's such a different way to close it out, but I love it.
What do you think about the Ling production here? herO has like 1 million billion Lings or so?
I mean, he's forced out a lot, but I mean, maybe there could be a counterattack or something like that he could do. I don't know. I mean, it's just 2 mutas, right? How many more mutas have been made, or is he just going to power drone up? Is that really the game plan?
Yeah,
I guess it is.
I think that is. Like, I mean, maybe he needs like a few more mutas just to make sure he can kill all of these Zerglings, but I think he's unaware of exactly how many Zerglings he's up against. Like, if I'm him, I'm thinking, okay, you're trying to drone up so that you can kind of fight against me long term, but I took 2 bases, so I'm in great shape. Now, he runs 2 Lings past.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not really finding anything that looks too suspicious, I guess, unless he must have seen some of them at the natural.
I mean, all you really need to watch for is the layer, right? I mean, that's basically it. Oh, he gets that drone. Nicely done.
Crazy. But yeah, a couple of mutas here on the defensive. A lot of Lings. You know, that's enough Lings that 2 mutas can't stop them. You know, like, if those Lings were to run across, like... The mutas definitely need to be microed pretty heavily, do some moving shots following them, and I could still see like some decent damage being dealt.
Yeah, maybe he wants
to go for that.
In
In fact, he might even split him. Like, let's see.
It's such a kind of brainy approach that SoulKey has here. I think he should split him off, and he does send some out. I feel like this is predictable, but we see Zerg players get punished by it all the time.
He's trying to utilize his mutas to reduce the Zergling count a little bit here, and he is doing a good job of that, getting hit by Spores a little bit. The counterattack of Zerglings coming through, but there's like 3 Lings and a couple mutas there. Oh, the mutas do move, so maybe he can get in and get something done.
Yeah, these Lings are going to come in here now. Maybe he can try to snipe some drones down. He gets 1. Can he get 2? Ooh. All right, so this one's going to go down. There's nothing that this one can do now.
I wouldn't think so.
But, you know, just having 3 gases, I don't really know how one loses in a game like this. In a game where, like, you know,
right?
The Mutalisk is the best unit, basically. Zergling too, but, you know, to have this many bases, I mean, how does somebody ever catch up? And we do have the predicament where one player has Spores and the other doesn't. So there is this kind of super defender's advantage and opportunities for counterattacks on that side of things. But, I mean, a free 3rd base after SoulKey got a positional advantage, I mean, it's just hard to imagine that not being a pretty straightforward win, right?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. And one thing to mention as well, don't forget there is the extra gas in the main base for both players. So, like, This might be the most gas-heavy Zerg that we like ever see in our whole lives.
That's actually a really good
like,
point, herOsis. By the way, SoulKey did get the armor upgrade. So even with the Spire, you know, finishing up here for herO, there's going to be an upgrade advantage, and unless like he gets 2 Spires or something totally weird, which I don't even think makes any sense, I don't see any way to ever catch up.
I think you're right about that, but you're right that he has like a lot of spores, so he does have this kind of defender's advantage. Maybe there's some world where he can tech beyond this, right? Like there are things that beat mutas if you can get to them, like Plague or Dark Swarm. Both of these like counter mutas.
Ensnare with from really a queen, maybe. You know, I mean, some of these things are.
We've seen people try to go Devourers before. I don't think I've ever seen Devourers really work, to be honest. Scourge counted them pretty hard, but yeah, like maybe there is some way out here for herO. He's a very brainy Zerg player.
Is there like a definitive answer for what to do if you get into the Muta arms race? We don't see it that often, and I don't, you know. Is there like one play like, oh, clearly it's the Plague, or is it, you know, clearly it's Queen with the Snare?
Yeah. So well, the thing is, Plague is ultimate if you have like a million mutas, right? Like let's say each player has 24 mutas, right? Like if you can get to a Plague and you hit that clump, dude, it's thousands of damage.
Oh no, it's
just
crazy. But I just wonder, you know, because for instance, getting a Queen with a Snare is easier, right?
Yeah,
and faster, to be frank. So I'm just wondering, like, is there like some kind of concluded route, or is this?
Well, I think now I might be wrong on this. Ensnare does not slow the attack of every unit. I believe it does not slow the attack of mutas, so it actually wouldn't be as useful. It would just slow them, like movement speed, but they should still do the same damage. Now, someone would have to double check me on that because Ensnare wasn't meant to slow attack speed. So, anyways, we do have a huge attack coming into this main base. There's 3 spores here.
Yeah, and now there's 2 spores. And look at this, he can stay in range of the macro hatch. Now, there's not a counterattack coming over here. Instead, it's going to be the mutas coming down now for herO.
Dude, that's a Queen's Nest. That is a Queen's Nest.
Oh, I actually almost didn't. We were talking about this. I almost didn't even notice it, herOsis. How funny. So
this is exciting.
We are getting into our late game ZVZ that we had our fingers crossed for.
Dude, SoulKey's at 100 supply.
Hive coming for herO.
This is insane. Like this is one of the highest supplies I've ever seen in Zerg vs. Zerg. But are there enough spores? Are there enough mutas? I feel like SoulKey can just kill him.
Yeah, SoulKey may be able to just come in here and clobber him. I mean, he's almost 2-shotting spores at this point in time. Oh my god.
That is so many mutalisks. That is absurd how many mutalisks that is.
He just goes and takes out the gas. It's so funny. So I guess...
And he backs up. Is backing up there even correct? Like, with that plus carapace and like the amount of mutas, it feels like an attack really would win this. Plus 2 carapace? Yeah, he's just flying into it now, man. I think this game is about to end.
Yeah, I think he just basically gets a strong arm him. And this all comes back to the really brilliant play to basically get a lead, and then get like an insane lead after that to just go for the double expo, get all the gas in the world. SoulKey just floods him with mutas, and that is that herOsis.
Well, we had the desperation play here from herO trying to get into that Hive, and I really appreciate that he tried, because one day, Tasteless, we're going to see someone get to Hive again in a ZVZ and make it work.
I know.
Like, it's been years and years and years since it's happened in Pro Match. I hope to see it again, but it wasn't this game, unfortunately.
No, unfortunately not. I'm a little bit worried this is going to be a 2-0, man.
Yeah, it's pretty one-sided so far. It feels like SoulKey really on top of his Zerg vs. Zerg today. So I hope that herO can start to fight back if it's just a quick 3-0. I mean, well, it's Zerg vs. Zerg best of 5. This is not something that we expect to last that long, but it might be... Well, honestly, I guess the games are like long as far as ZVZs go, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, we had one time we casted a ZVZ at the studio, and it was like the time it took to do our makeup and like just basically get set up and test the mics was like longer than the actual best of 3 or best of 5. Yeah. So, guys, fingers crossed for herO to come back. Otherwise, we're going to close this out on Vamir. We will be right back.
원하지던 피니시 불타 두 배로 난 지치지 않아 목에 올려 포스팅의 맛으로 본 드라이버 나도 레벨 어제 쓰러져도 다시 높여 내 시벨 칼로리 제로 뛰어 피곤한 날 리셋 버핏 심장을 뛰게 해 이러니 버킷 리스트 핫센스 날 다시 깨우는 마법같이 핫센스 온몸에 그 강한 짜릿함이 핫센스 피닉스 마법같이 핫센스 핫센스
I'll be coming up hot for a minute. Everybody know the drop when I'm in it. Everybody know the drop when I'm in it. I'll be coming up hot for a minute.
지성세이다 제로 그래 걱정 빼고 고민 빼고 망설임 빼고 This is zero life 없어도 되는 건 빼고 지성사이다 제로
상큼함 맥스, 칼로리 X, 맛있는 탐스 제로. 요즘 제일 탐나는 제로, 탐스 제로. 같이 떠나볼래?
아침은 라떼, 홀리 점심은 라떼, 홀리 저녁엔 라떼, 홀리 풍부하게 달콤하게 라떼 홀리
달달한 충전이 필요할 땐 칸타타.
라떼 홀리.
All right, guys, welcome back. Let's see if production tries to stretch this one out in case this is a 3-0. I can tell you right now, AfreecaTV doesn't want this to be as short as it might be. So I'm banking on maybe they cut to casters a little bit too long. Maybe they use those roaming camera shots a little bit too much.
It's hard to sell a full studio day with a ZVZ best of 5 that could end 3-0, right? With circling rushes, it's like it's just so fast how quickly it can go down.
I've got to say, I'm very happy to see that there's this. Is that like a Doge pigeon? What is that in the back? What is that? Is that a Doge bird?
Yeah, I've never seen that. Yeah, that's cool.
Huh. I lost my train of thought. Anyways, look, we have a 2-0 situation here, guys. And so, oh, look at that. That's that sign again.
Thank you.
Although it says,
Keep showing that
does it say EASL? EASL? English?
Yas?
EASL. It's like esports.
Yeah,
like, this is the EASL.
This is electronic.
I'm like, did he
ASL. Very,
capitalize
very
it? Did he
different.
put a dash in between? Did he say it right?
It's played online.
Yeah. All right. We're going to be going into game number 3 here, guys. And I really don't want this to be a 3-0. So herO needs to step it up. You're seeing SoulKey here go for Lings with speed, very fast, and just kind of take control of the game. And then it's like a choose your own adventure of how to win the game from there. He turns to page 56 to double expand and then mass muta.
Yeah, that was really cool and very well done. Played very differently from the first set, despite the fact he had good advantages with the same build both times. Can't wait to see what SoulKey has planned game 3.
All right, guys, we're now going into that game here. Hopefully herO can come back. Otherwise, SoulKey is going to close this one out.
So, bottom right was SoulKey. Bottom left, we have herO. All right, so they're both scouting the wrong direction with the Overlord, so at least that is even to start. Do you think SoulKey is just going to stay on this one hatch? It seems like he's just so good at
Well,
it.
I mean, honestly, I don't see why he wouldn't do it, right? I mean, it does punish a lot of builds. I mean, I think herO was a little bit too greedy doing that with the hatch first, but Yeah, I mean, I think we've seen SoulKey quite often, to be honest, in ZVZ go for one hatch, either Ling Speed or Layer. But, look, I have aspirations to, if I ever get to S, maybe try to pick up Zerg and try to ladder with that and try to learn a little bit about that race. But whenever I look at, like, the builds that Zergs are doing, a lot of times I look at stuff and I'm like, oh, I think that's the one I'll try to use. I like Quick Pool and Extractor Speedlings. That looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, it feels like I like the type of value you're trying to get by doing the 2-hatch and the Spore thing, but, like, when I watch the really great Zergs dictate the flow of the game with the earlier Zerglings and then the earlier Mutalisks, and it feels like the game is more in your hands, Like, sometimes they kind of mess up, and you have someone that defends it really well, and then it doesn't really do all that much, but I feel like a lot of the time at this pro level, it just dominates,
It seems like it, right? But he didn't go for gas this time around. This isn't quite the same game.
No, it's different.
And so, I probably going to be an earlier hatch here coming down. herO, on the other hand, is... Oh, I'm sorry. Look at that. So he goes for a pool, and gets a few more drones, and then gets a gas. Gosh, ZVZ has changed so much from, like, when you and I played before StarCraft 2. Because I do feel like, in our defense, like, we both had a pretty good handle on how Zerg operated pre-StarCraft 2, and then when we came back, it's like, dude, all the matchups, everything is totally different.
Yeah, it's funny how much things have really evolved. It seems like, honestly, I think that it evolves much quicker than it used to, because, I've mentioned this before about how the streaming, if you're a pro in StarCraft 1 now, you have to stream. Like, there is not a way to make enough money unless you are literally Flash, but then he makes even more money streaming than he does winning all the tournaments, right? So, like, having all the greatest players show their greatest plays all the time is making the game evolve so much quicker than the compartmentalized, like, 9 to 10 pro teams where it's like each team has 2 geniuses that only show their best plays, like, once a month.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like you'll see a fraction of a build and you won't know what's going into it. Whereas right now, like, I mean, anyone in the world can literally tune into their streams on AfreecaTV and see exactly what the best players are practicing.
And interact with them, too. I mean, you can ask them questions and they can answer it. And so it's almost like, we're more of a hive mind. It's like we're, kind of like a super AI. We're all kind of connected together and learning and influencing each other in a way where information can spread so quickly. And I think you're 100% right, Tastosis. It does seem like things have just picked up since then.
Certainly. I definitely think so. Now, here come the Lings. A lot of Lings are out here for SoulKey as well. So I don't think he's going to be able to get any damage. Is there going to be a counterattack? It looks like we have a Sunken actually being made at the natural of herO. So SoulKey is going to be the one that is doing a pretty aggressive counterattack. Drone's going to the natural. This means he is a little bit afraid.
Yeah, these Lings are going to come down here now. He does not actually do the drill. It's a little bit late. They actually slip.
Ooh. Yeah, that one Ling in the main base actually kind of taking his attention there, I think.
I
believe that's what just happened. But it feels to me like, once again, SoulKey might have a slight advantage.
You saw SoulKey.
Like, the Sunken can be nice, but it seems like SoulKey, he's kind of dictating the flow of the game. I believe he killed one drone there as well.
And it does seem like SoulKey just kind of moves out ahead here. His Spire has started, and I don't see a Spire yet here for herO.
Yeah, I don't believe that he has one as of yet. Now, SoulKey is doing nothing but making Ling stasis. He's going completely all in. If herO switches on just Lings, I can see him totally holding this.
Yeah.
He goes and takes the ramp, the Sunken dealing a ton of damage here, but a lot more Lings for SoulKey. Unfortunately, they can't get the connections. He picks off a drone on his way out, but that was much more efficient for herO.
Yeah, the drone drill was quite strong. I'm sorry. There is no Spire. I thought I saw a Spire start. Did he cancel it?
He may have, yeah.
I don't know, maybe
because he's been making nothing but Lings. And now both of them get their Spires going at about the same time.
I'll tell you what, Tastosis, I think this is pretty good here for herO.
Yeah. Well, he held that last attack so magnificently well. And he has a Sunken, which is, kind of that base defense where you're not as afraid of counterattacks. And he just has so many Lings at this point. And he has more drones. It's like, this is pretty damn one-sided.
Lings are going to come back now. And, I mean, if there was a game that herO could recover from, I mean, this is kind of that game here now. It seems like SoulKey tried to force something. He might have been too in the rhythm of the last few games here. We're going to have an engagement here, but I think there's just a little bit more here for herO. I think we're probably just going to see SoulKey die. I mean, I don't... Yeah, there it is. Okay, GG. herO does manage to win a game, and so it will not be that dreaded 3-0. But it's going to be a long road ahead here for herO. He's going to have the full reverse sweep. We've seen it before. We had it at GSL just now the other day, but, you know, can we have it, you know, moving forward here? I'm not so sure.
Yeah, well, ZVZ, you can definitely see a reverse sweep. Like, I feel like it's easier than the other matchups because both of these guys can really kill each other at any time, and it might just have more to do with momentum at that point. Like, if you win 2 in a row, it's your opponent's like, damn it, am I really letting this go after starting 2-0? So hopefully SoulKey doesn't let it get too much in his head, but herO gets himself on the board. Kind of the most basic game so far.
Yeah, well, that's honestly kind of more in vain with what a lot of ZVZs look like. So there was a funny moment here. Watch the drone drill on the way back around. Watch this one right. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was a different one. I'm sorry, everybody. I thought this was the one from earlier. Yeah, he basically holds that. Now, here's the thing. I don't think that it was necessary for him to keep making Lings and all in. I thought that, especially upon seeing the sunk, you're better off just not doing this.
I would agree, too. I think maybe you're thinking, well, he's not going to make any more Lings, and I can just overwhelm, but definitely wasn't the case. That was a great drone drill that we saw there. And look at this. At the end of that, he's up 4 drones with a sunken and, like, more Lings. So definitely not the best attack there from SoulKey, and does not get to finish herO off.
Yeah, I mean, that's that, right? So the saga continues on here. We're going to be going into game number 4, but I believe with this type of production, we have a break after every game. So guys, sit tight. We'll be back in just a minute, and hopefully we'll get that game 5 on Neo Arkanoid.
상큼함 맥스, 칼로리 X, 맛있는 탐스 제로. 요즘 제일 탐나는 제로, 탐스 제로. 같이 떠나볼래?
칠성사이다 제로.
아침은 라떼 홀리 점심은 라떼 홀리 저녁엔 라떼 홀리 풍부하게 달콤하게 라떼 홀리
달달한 충전이 필요할 땐 칸타타.
Welcome back, everybody. We're going to go into game number 4 here. herO is proving that he can fight back, but he's going to have to win 2 more games in a row. Otherwise, SoulKey is taking that 3rd place spot. And after that, all that's left is the ASL Season 14 finals.
Yeah, this is the second last match. Oh, I'm kind of feeling sad now that you brought that up. We're almost done this tournament. We're right at the very end, and we're seeing such a familiar sight. herO in the 3rd place match. How many times now? Like 4 seasons in a row or something. It's getting kind of crazy.
Nemesis is where this is going to go down. Oh, looks like herO is requesting either a floor manager or the referee or something.
Something must be wrong. What could it be? I wonder. Maybe the lights are too bright.
Yeah, a lot of time it's the lights.
The way you pointed up there, I bet you that's what it was, Stasis. I will bet you.
So they'll get that fixed. And then we'll just see. Yeah,
Nemesis is going to be our map taste. It's like I could see someone expanding to those back bases, right? Like that's you can't really get Lings there quickly.
That's true. All right, guys, we're going to go into this game, see if we have some hidden bases or maybe just a very standard game. So we go into game 4 here in this best of 5, the ASL 3rd place, 4th place match.
We have SoulKey there on that top right, and in the bottom right we have herO. So they kind of share like the 3 o'clock, but the 3 o'clock you have to go through the natural to get to, whereas 12 and 6. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry, I have that backwards. It's like a rotationally symmetric map. So
right.
SoulKey, the one that he could get to easily, is shared with herO. So like that almost makes me feel like herO has more options here than SoulKey, because he could take that one at 6, and it's like really far from SoulKey.
It's interesting to see SoulKey keeping the mask on. Some of the pros will play with a mask on for hours, man.
Yeah.
It's funny, like, so we had the mask mandate, the outdoor mask mandate lifted. How many months has it been? 4 or 5?
Yeah, it's been like 4 months.
Yeah. And so, excuse me. Yeah, it's interesting to kind of see who's been keeping the masks on and who's not. By the way, you would get like a ticket if you did not have a mask on outside.
Oh, it was a huge
I didn't understand
fine.
this was like not really the case in the U.S. So like when I would be like, guys, stay safe, wash your hands, wear a mask, and or whatever. Like when the show would end, I'd have all these angry people tweet at me like, "No, you wear a mask, Tastosis. I'm not going to do that." And I'm like, "Why are people mad at me? I don't understand." But yeah, man, some of the players keeping the mask on, man. I feel like I'd just be so uncomfortable wearing it, but
yeah, while playing.
Yeah, while playing.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a stressful game, Taste. I can barely breathe through my mouth while I play, you know? I'm like, I'm like,
so funny.
All I do is play this game, and now I have to play in front of people.
Now, I mean, how do you think you'd perform if you were actually in an ASL? Like, because, you know, we both have actually played. Like, obviously not on anything like the scope of ASL. But we did play in WCGs. We have played in the ASL qualifiers, the ACS qualifiers, and it's always kind of a weird experience where after you play in ladder for literally tens of thousands of games, tens of thousands of hours even, to then be like, okay, this is the game that counts. Oh, all right, I either know the situation or I don't. Am I going to be able to pull it off?
I tell you, I do have a little bit of problems that I've had with nerves. Like, I played in GSL, and I definitely did not play up to my level.
I remember that, herOsis. I was having to not talk about how many minerals and gas you had that you weren't spending.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, no, I got to cover for it.
I was certainly having a hard time. I think I've gotten better playing under pressure at this point. It's not perfect yet, but, like, no, I think I would do fine if I was in ASL, like, as far as playing well. There's not a whole lot of pressure since I stream like every game and everyone's seen every bad thing I can do at this point.
Seen every weak moment you've had. By the way, look at these links. They're going to go completely around. Dude, that is sick.
Very clever.
Dude, herO's so good.
He really is. SoulKey, by the way, second hatch in the main base. That's a little bit different.
Yeah.
I think right now SoulKey might be thinking, oh, he might have 6 o'clock as base because there's like drones missing for the amount of lings that he saw, and there's not like an extra hatch or anything, and he didn't see a drone go up to the natural. So if I'm him, I'm like, oh, you might have taken 6.
I mean, can he just break him down here? This is a lot of lings coming up. So SoulKey kind of jerking his chair when he saw that much come up there. He realized definitely. He was.
Dude, this might just be it.
Yeah, he was duped there.
No.
Oh, dude. This is a lot.
This was such a sneaky play here from you. Oh my God.
That drill is like crazy.
So many drones are falling cases. That's
game, dude. All right, well, we are going to get that Neo Arkanoid game.
Dude, I don't even, like...
Look at SoulKey scratching his head. He's so tilted right now.
Well, he really got duped there by herO. herO had like such a good plan. He knew the vision exactly. He was like exactly outside the Overlord vision the entire time. And so now herO has shown that if the game only is on Zerglings, he can win.
Look at SoulKey so mad.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's like 2 games in a row that SoulKey's like, what? Like, just you have so many lings, and now I'm dead. Kind of crazy to see the way that went down. I mean, that's great planning, though. Like, you plan like that, and you win a game like that as herO, you feel really good about your prep, right? You're like, yeah, they stood right outside that vision, tricked him 100%, basically a free victory. That's a victory you got just by practicing alone. Like, no execution in game, really, right?
All right. Dude, I'm just happy we're going to get to go to map 5 here.
Yeah.
I mean, that was, well, this is what I was talking about earlier. I was really hoping we'd get it, but I'm so happy we're actually going to get to explore it. Again, I don't know if Neo Arkanoid's going to be in the map pool in the next season, so it's very exciting to see that we're going to have a chance to kind of take a closer look and see exactly how a ZVZ would operate on a map that's just out there and different.
Yeah, that is going to be super cool to see. Looks like, I guess we're not really going to look any deeper on that game. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, and when we come back, the most exciting map, Neo Arkanoid, map 5.
상큼함 맥스, 칼로리 X, 맛있는 탐스 제로. 요즘 제일 탐나는 제로, 탐스 제로. 같이 떠나볼래?
실성사이다 제로.
아침엔 라떼 홀릭 점심엔 라떼 홀릭 저녁엔 라떼 홀릭 풍부하게 달콤하게 라떼 홀릭
달달한 충전이 필요할 땐 칸타타.
Welcome back, everybody. It's time to settle this. It's time to find out who is actually going to take the whole thing. This is the fight to get third place in the ASL. SoulKey and herO have had a lot of very different ZVZs. It looked like SoulKey was close to maybe even closing this out. But ultimately, we had herO just, fight back. Some kind of funny wins.
He did make a lot of Zerglings. You're right about that, Tastosis.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd say
Honestly, his wins don't impress me as much as SoulKey's. Like, great planning on that last one, but I like the first 2 games a bit more. And I think this 5th game, there's no way it can end quickly because you have to kill so many temples. So what are they going to do?
I think it's going to be
I think it's one hatch meter rush, right?
Maybe. I think we're going to see some powering plays, man. Just heavy mass air fleets going at it.
It's possible, yeah. I guess you could go Spore World, but I feel like one hatch Muta could work as well. Like one hatch Muta into Expand.
And it's the first time we've ever started this game with a question mark. All right, who will take this game? Will it be Messi? On the map, Neo Arkanoid?
Neo Arkanoid? Wait, what's the score again?
Is it 2-2? Fight for third place?
Right, we have SoulKey in the top right. Oh, I love that they're cross-spawn. Yeah. I love that, Tastosis. It makes me very, very happy. That means that they can't just instantly hit each other's expansions, which is super cool.
Guys, as we go into this final game, we just want to give you a little push to go to the Patreon. It's patreon.com/ASL English. I'm sure some of you have been meaning to sign up, but you haven't gotten around to it. But get an account, and if you can, send us some love. We appreciate it, and it's because of people like you supporting us that we're able to keep doing this. So thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. And we get wonderful ZVZs like this that make it to Game 5. We've had so many series go the full distance.
That's definitely SoulKey. Yeah.
It's him grabbing all the dollar bills out of the air right there. He does use that ID need money online when he's streaming.
Yeah.
All right, Tastosis, now we get to see, is it like one hatch Muta? Is it fast expansion?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, this is one of the things about maps like this, and, I'm going to say what I said earlier on in the show, because we're finally actually here, but, we can have weird maps like this one, and maybe they do make imbalances in certain matchups. I don't know if we've concluded how fair this map is yet, but when it comes to a mirror matchup, that's where I think, can have the most fun on a weird map, because we don't have to worry about, like, oh, can the guy get the shuttle too soon, or does Zerg get too many gases? It's 2 Zergs. So we just kind of get to see how they approach it in what is going to be perfectly even.
It's a good point. It's a good point. Like, and I think a map like this actually is just going to make Zerg vs. Zerg much more interesting in general. Because you can't Zergling rush, really.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, you could make a pool and make Zerglings, but you have to break down so many buildings. It seems really unlikely with the Overlords kind of fanning out that would go undetected and be able to actually do anything, you know?
Yeah. And, you know, it seems like you should be able to get a third gas pretty quickly. And when you do have a third gas, that's where we can start to see that late-game ZVZ tech. I mean, maybe we do
like,
get the Defilers, maybe we get the Queens, the Devours, whatever.
Dude, I would love that more than anything, Tasteless. Like, I think for sure we're going to get, like, carapace upgrades and things like that. Like, maybe +2 carapace because there's going to be such big economies. And really, like, once you start getting these big amount of mutas and you have to fly that far across map and you both have the same amount of economy, I guess you're going to go into third gases, right? And at that point, the muta counts get to be so silly. Yeah, maybe this is our best possible chance to get into, you know, like some sort of hive tech game.
Yeah, I've got my fingers crossed for it. I do like myself a good ZVZ, but I'm always so curious about the late game. I know that people encounter it in streams or on ladder, but we just don't seem to ever get there. It's kind of like late game PvP.
Yeah.
Like, you can get to the point where both Protosses have, like, half the map, but it's, like, lots of Zealot Archon, and sometimes even, like, Arbiters are being made and crazy stuff like that, but not usually in an ASL or a KSL.
No, certainly not. Like, the last time we've seen hive units used at the pro level was in a KSL qualifier match between Action and Shine. And that was the most absurd game on Overwatch. But, like, that is one time since StarCraft Remastered came out, after countless CVCs.
And so, herO is going to start opening up the map here. It is important to note that SoulKey is not, and seems to be interested in Techie. So, well, here's the thing. Now I stand corrected, because he's going to attack those temples over there, and I feel like, well, in this case, somebody's got to be wrong, right? You can't both be trying to open up the middle of the map.
I wonder. Yeah, it looks like SoulKey stops now that he sees that herO is already further about it than he is. So herO is trying to focus on these lanes. This is fascinating, man. Like, as SoulKey, do you just make tons of lanes? Or do you try to go, like, Sunkens? I don't think so, because you have the 2 bases, and you don't have anything close enough to these temples. What you really need, Tastosis, is a Hydra to shoot them over the wall.
So it looks like these links are going to start to... Oh, hold on. He's going to actually back up here. I guess he wants to get a direct access pathway here.
Yeah.
To go to straight line. I got a little bit confused there.
So, yeah, he's killing a lot of these buildings now. And SoulKey actually does end up killing the temples, which is kind of surprising. Comes in and... Oh! herO actually not expecting that, I guess. Loses a few lings. So, a nice engage there from SoulKey for a moment. Goes back behind the temples. herO trying to come in. SoulKey has plenty of lings here. I don't think he's going to die.
Yeah, this is a...
You can't go in there!
Oh, I mean, this is kind of a little bit crazy if he's going to try to force this. And SoulKey's fighting back pretty nicely. He needs to open up that other temple.
It looks like that is what he's going to go for. Now the Spires are finishing up here on both sides. It looks like herO has spent his gas, but SoulKey really has not. So I'm actually like a little bit nervous about that. Like, what if a couple mutas come over and he's sitting here just making links? Okay, there we go. A bunch of gas just disappeared for SoulKey, so he is making something.
Okay, mutas are out. But again, you know, if you get into a duel, you got to be careful. You know, if you get to their side of the map, like in this case, if herO was to get all the way over there and try to hit SoulKey, you know, keep in mind he would be coming out as the mutas are being produced. This could go either way. I don't think either side's going to be able to kill each other just yet. And remember that, you know, there's not a lot of Overlords out on the map, so they could also very easily, like, go around each other here.
Yeah, that's actually true. Like, whoever hits the base first probably has a huge advantage at that point, right? Because you kill the drones more quickly, you start the damage a little bit more quickly. Of course, there's always the math of the links as well, if the links come in for some sort of counterattack. Now, SoulKey has finished off his own secondary temple there, just kind of holding the position in the center here for herO. SoulKey actually has a fair amount more supply.
He does. He's got some Scourge incorporated into the mix here as well. Are we going to have that third hatchery maybe at the other gas? I guess we don't quite have the minerals for that just yet. And has anybody gotten either +1 attack or +1 armor? I know that attack is less common, but sometimes people get it because it's a little bit cheaper and it can come out just a little bit quicker. Yeah. Literally just because the price is lower.
That's a fair reason, right? Now, when herO comes in and gets a little bit of drone kills, the Scourge actually screwing up the map here quite a bit. A lot of Scourge actually end up connecting. SoulKey is doing a counterattack with a ton of Surges.
This is a lot of Lings coming down. How ready exactly is herO going to be? And Overlord goes down. The Muta's going to continue to chase down the other Mutas.
Oh my god, herO is actually doing a great job chasing SoulKey down right now, but SoulKey has a lot more Scourge come in. herO turns around. The Ling's going to start hitting now. They've killed most of the Lings here of herO's. The Sunken still remains. A little bit of drone drilling going on here.
I'm worried there might just barely be too many Lings. He gets the drone, and the Sunken actually lives. Oh, what? Oh, there was a Ling. There was a Ling under there. I couldn't figure out what was going on.
Ah. Okay, so wait, who's ahead right now?
I think SoulKey is.
SoulKey is?
Yeah, I believe so.
Because it felt like his Lings didn't do as much as I thought they might there. The Sunken and Drone Drill did like a really nice job.
But he got some drones. There was probably an interruption in the mining gas there as well for herO. But herO's coming across with a lot of Scourge. But man, there's a lot of Scourge here for SoulKey as well.
Yeah, it seems like SoulKey actually has a bigger Muta count. A lot of the Scourge are actually connecting, though. A little bit sloppy there from SoulKey. Now, can herO do a better job? He's bringing in more Scourge from the side. Nice flick shot there to kill another Muta.
And, I mean, this is kind of scary here. I mean, herO, I think, really needs to make this work, but SoulKey seems to be pretty confident here. Oh, this dogfight is pretty insane.
Dude, what? Yeah, it's like we're watching Top Gun 3 right now. My God. It looks like 3 Mutas on both sides with approximately the same health retrieved. That's crazy.
Yeah, this is pretty wild, man. How many drones are back here? It looks like the Lings are going to come in, and he's going to do a great interrupt and just run away. Meanwhile, herO trying to snipe these drones does not actually get a kill on any of them, only damages them.
Good effort there, but the Ling's going to come back in for SoulKey. It seems like the Lings are doing a really good job over here, denying a lot of mining time. Oh, another Scourge hit from herO.
And the Ling's coming back down here. If you don't have any of your own Zerlings to defend, it's kind of hard to deal with, and now the Overlords start to fall, so there's going to be a lot less vision on that side of the map as SoulKey tries to close in here. Oh, my God!
Oh, my God. How is Neo Arkanoid becoming a more scrappy, lower economy game than like a 2-player map? How is that the case that I'm watching right now?
I know, it's pretty crazy, right? So he's gonna
yeah, not how I saw this map going.
Oh my God, he just went right by those Scourge.
Dude, the amount of Scourge that are actually hitting this game is pretty insane. Look at that, another one hits, but SoulKey just has more Mutas.
Yeah, I think this is actually the nail in the coffin here. Well, hold on, let's see how many micros against these Scourge. 5 should be enough to one-shot.
Oh, yeah, I think he's gonna... Oh, my God. More and more and more hitting. The Scourge in this game are stronger than Mutas.
Okay.
Normally it's not the case, but like we're seeing so many Scourge hit on both sides.
Okay, Scourge takes another Scourge, and he's got 2 targeted here. And we got to go to the other Mutas. Go back. They're both just trying to micro against each other's Scourge here. Oh my God,
they're both having a very hard time
game.
with it too.
It's just one, so it can't fight back. That should be it. I think SoulKey just now won the game.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. 13 supply remains for herO. He's not going to be able to get 3rd place this season. GG.
Wow.
SoulKey going to take it home. Wow, what a game. Crazy
Hell
one.
of a game, man. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was nice. It's really not how I saw Neo Arkanoid going. I really thought that we might get like a bigger game like we were talking about, but that's my foolish optimism.
That's your foolish optimism at work yet again, Artosis.
I know.
That was a fun one, though. It's funny, but what you mentioned, Artosis, it's like, is this really going to be a scrappier game than most of our other land map games? It does seem like SoulKey has superior Muta control. And I feel like a couple seasons ago we talked about how we don't think of Muta control when we think of SoulKey. Well, never mind that. That was crazy. They both had these Scourge forking out onto the different mutas, and then they're both having to like just try to micro against that before they can engage each other. But probably 3 or 4 Scourge hits that herO could have avoided, and that's all it takes. That's how you lose.
It really is. It really is. It was actually surprising how many Scourge hit on both sides. Normally it's not like that, but this got so down and dirty that I think with them trying to manage these Zergling attacks, they weren't microing maybe up to the level that we normally see. Oh, look. His slings actually weren't all attacking at the same time, too. That's why I thought they were going to do more, because I'm like, well, he has so many. There's not that many here.
Yeah, he might have clicked on the mini-map or something, and it just like was a few pixels off. And then just watch this moment. It looked like to me like the sunken colony just like self-destructed here, because I didn't see this ling that's at the top. I was watching the one at the bottom.
Oh.
So I thought it just like...
And it just got it on the last hit,
I just couldn't take it anymore and blew up.
All right. So, pretty cool to see SoulKey get third place. It's getting closer and closer. Quick interview.
한식스와 함께하는 ASL 시즌 14 3, 4위전 모두 만나보셨습니다. 이번 시즌을 3위로 마무리한 김민철 선수 만나보겠습니다. 김민철 선수 고생 많으셨습니다. 축하드립니다.
네, 감사합니다.
정말 많은 것들을 얻어갈 수 있었던 이번 시즌 14 김민철 선수의 행보는 여기에서 끝이 났습니다. 3위로 유종의 미를 거둘 수 있게 된 김민철 선수인데요. 먼저 소감이 좀 어떠실까요?
오늘 뭐 승패 좀 연연하지 않고 좀 편한 마음으로 오니까 확실히 편하게 오니까 게임이 좀 잘 풀리는 것 같더라고요. 이로써 증명이 됐습니다. 편하게 해야 되겠더라고요.
이번 시즌 김민철 선수에게 가장 큰 걸림돌이자 큰 벽으로 느껴졌었던 저저전을 정말 많이 극복해내고 오히려 그 부분을 통해서 더욱더 성장한 모습을 좀 경기 안에서도 느낄 수 있었던 것 같아요. 김민철 선수에게도 좀 남다른 시즌이 아니었을까 싶은데요. 어떠셨나요?
아무래도 대회에서 저그전을 이제 못한다라는 평가가 있었는데 저저전은 이제 극복을 했는데 다전제에 좀 약하다라는 평가가 또 이제 돌고 있더라고요. 근데 이제 그거는 다음 시즌에는 이제 좀 없게 만들도록 하겠습니다.
지금 결승전이 태태전으로 성사가 됐기 때문에 김민철 선수 이번 시즌 14 최고의 적으로 명실상부 자리하고 계십니다. 아마 그 원동력에는 늘 경기 때마다 또 응원해주러 현장을 찾아주는 동료들 덕분이 아닐까 하는 생각이 드는데요. 그 부분에 대한 또 감사의 마음도 많으실 것 같아요.
네, 아무래도 저희 NS 유순아 구단주님이 와일드 카드전부터 해가지고 ASL 한 경기도 빠짐없이 응원을 와주셨거든요. 아무래도 그런 부분이 저한테 좀 힘이 나가지고 3등 이게 제가 ASL에서는 제일 좋은 성적이거든요. 이런 성적 거두게 된 원인이 계속 응원을 와주셔가지고 이렇게 힘이 나서 좋은 경기 나왔던 것 같습니다.
김민철 선수가 말씀하셨던 대로 정말 오랜만에 또 이렇게 3번 시드까지 획득할 수 있었던 이번 시즌입니다. 아마 다음 시즌 15에 김민철 선수의 선전을 또 변함없이 응원해주고 계실 팬분들도 있으실 것 같습니다. 이번 시즌 그리고 다음 시즌도 응원해줄 팬분들에게도 인사를 좀 전해주시죠.
일단은 결승전 너무 올라가고 싶었거든요. 그래서 저희 NSU 남순 이사장님도 결승 오프 응원을 꼭 오시게끔 만들고 싶었는데 그건 좀 너무 아쉬워서 제가 만약에 다음 시즌 올라가게 된다면 그때라도 좀 와주셨으면 좋겠습니다. 그리고 팬분들 항상 기대 많이 하시는데 제가 맨날 기대만 하고 이제 실망을 좀 많이 시켰거든요. 그래도 이번 시즌에는 그래도 기대에 좀 못 미치긴 했지만 그래도 다음 시즌을 더 기대하게 만든 것 같아요. 그래서 다음 시즌 좀 기대해 주셨으면 좋겠습니다. 네, 실망 안 시키고 꼭 결승 올라가도록 하겠습니다. 다음 시즌은. 네.
많은 분들이 저뿐만 아니라 많은 분들이 김민철 선수 경기를 해감에 따라서 점점 더 좀 가벼워지고 여유로워지는 손놀림을 많이 느끼셨을 것 같습니다. 충분히 다음 시즌 더 멋진 모습을 보여주실 수 있을 것 같은데 목표가 어떠실까요?
일단 제가 3등, 4등 이렇게 해봤어요. 한 번씩은.
네.
근데 이제 결승을 꼭 올라가고 싶다는 생각이 더더욱 들더라고요. 이게 이번 시즌 너무 아쉬움이 커서 이번 시즌 하면서 좀 느낀 게 많기 때문에 그거를 다음 시즌에서 좀 보여드리도록 하겠습니다.
다음 시즌 김민철 선수가 보여줄 행보를 또 저 역시 한번 기대하도록 하겠습니다. 다시 한번 유종의 미로 3위로 마무리한 이번 시즌 다시 한번 축하드립니다.
네, 감사합니다.
자, 이렇게 이번 시즌 3위로 마무리한 저그 김민철 선수와 함께했습니다.
Well, guys, there it is. SoulKey does come out victorious 3-2. And I'll tell you, man, I loved this series. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah. For ZVZ Best of 5, it was really back and forth. An exciting ending, no doubt about that. And some very decisive plays before that exciting ending. So yeah, I think that was a great ZVZ, and it's nice to see SoulKey, at least temporarily overcome that little bit of a bad matchup that he has.
And again, I think either of these guys could have been in the finals, could have been champions. I mean, we really have never had a round of 4 that has been that insane. And then here we had third place, fourth place was totally crazy. Dude, I think we're set for a very interesting finals.
Dude, this can go to 7 games 100%. We've never had in a StarLeague a best of 7 TVT. Like, the last TVT finals we had was like Season 2, I believe.
Yeah.
C versus Flash, which was a best of 5. And Flash kind of routed C. It was like 3-1. And really, we haven't had a TVT series that has been that big and that prepped for, right? I guess the Rush Light one would be the second. But this is going to be exciting. I think it's really hard to choose who's going to win. They definitely have slightly different styles. They both mechanically are amazing. And TVT, I think, is one of the least explored matchups in this game. I mean, obviously it's very explored, but like, no one practices it regularly like the other matchups because it can get so long.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to see this. I am thinking maybe a little bit Royal favored. I feel like he has a greater depth of knowledge when it comes to kind of these weird builds that maybe Rush can't prepare for, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, well, that is it for us, guys. Thank you for watching this 3rd and 4th place match. We'll be up with the finals as soon as possible. Any parting words, Tastosis?
I love you guys. Love you guys so much. Can't wait for this finals. We will see you there, and we'll get that recorded right away. So stay tuned. Bye-bye.
Be yours.